Good Monday morning, everyone. I'm Kelly Knapp.
And I'm Lee Barrows.
And guess who's bringing up the end of the train today? I'm Rayford Brown,
Okay, yeah.
also known as the Oyster Man.
The Oyster Man. I know. I'm so sad I missed out.
Yeah. Anyway, how was your turkey day?
Turkey Day was very, very good.
All right, friends and family and all that sort of good stuff.
All right, 1 second. Okay, we're good.
Okay. I was hearing an echo.
Yeah, I had it queued up for something else and forgot the volume was on. That was my fault.
That's all right. Just push that little button; it'll go away.
Yeah, we've got it.
All right. Yeah, Turkey Day was busy all across the country. It looked like, and for the most part, it was a fairly tame period of time, and that's good. Always good. Had a few typical spats here and there, and always making news when that happens, especially when it's around a holiday. But we'll get over it. We'll get over most of it. We had a tragic situation here in Onslow County
Yes, we did.
on Thursday morning, late Thursday morning. The details are sketchy. I'll tell you that right now, and they will remain sketchy. But a deputy sheriff, I guess were responding to a call in the Hubert area, and a vehicle description was given out. Don't know exactly what the call was about. I've heard different things. But anyway, the deputy pulled the vehicle over and it was occupied by a female. And all we knew is that he shot and killed her. And there was a gun in the car, according to Sheriff elect Chris Thomas. That's what he told one of the news outlets in the area. Anyway, the case was immediately turned over to the SBI, which will work with the district attorney, Ernie Lee, and most, if not all, of the information we will hear from now on will be coming from Ernie Lee. So that's what we know. Don't know a lot about the circumstances. Not interested in rumors. I've heard about as many as you have. So uh, who knows? Who knows what's going on there? But it's a tragic situation. And it's bad for a law enforcement officer to have to take a life, or he felt like he had to take a life. The investigation, like I said, is ongoing. He has been placed on administrative leave. And when I say he, I will use he or she has been placed on administrative leave. They haven't given us any information about the officer. So, not that unusual the way things are.
No, agreed.
I agree with
Yeah.
that too. It kind of makes you scared, even not really scared, but I don't know. It makes you not even want to go out at night anymore
Yeah.
and be
Yeah.
traveling by yourself.
Well, you can't just hide. And,
No, you
'cause
can't.
There's stuff everywhere.
And that's what's sad about it too.
Here's a marvelous story that with a great ending. Yesterday, a little after 6 o'clock, coming into Montgomery County, Maryland. I don't know whether the plane was on an approach to an airport or not. About 6 o'clock, the plane became entangled in one of those overhead power lines. And this is not an overhead power line like we have coming into our house. It's one of those towers. It's about 100 feet tall with lots and lots and lots of high voltage lines on it. And the airplane hit it. It's a small plane, hit it, two people aboard the plane, and it got wrapped up in the power lines. I swear I've seen this story on one of those old Rescue One channels or programs or something. Remember those days? it, I've seen a story much like this one. This is real life. This happened. This actually happened. So they worked for quite a while. They killed the power first of all. That was a good thing. Then they had to go through what they call a discharging phase. The discharging was meaning they were grounding every parts to it to make sure there was no static electricity or any other electricity operating there. Don't want to reach over and grab something and it's still got a charge built up in it, and because that could hurt you, kill you, or send you to the ground 100 feet down. So they went through that. Then they secured the plane, tied it off so it couldn't go anywhere. And then finally, about 6 hours or so after the plane hit the power lines, they lowered the two people on board to safety down below. They're both in the hospital being treated. So,
It's
a
a wild
marvelous
story.
ending to what could have
Yes.
been a really, really tragic story. So I'm glad to see that happen. Thank
I
goodness.
agree. It was a very wild story. I
Oh,
totally
golly.
agree. Yeah.
I've looked at some of the pictures here and I'm so, holy moly.
That's a TV
What?
movie right there.
Yeah,
Oh,
well,
Yeah.
absolutely. I
Yeah.
imagine the story
Mhm.
is, will be told time and again. That would be a good book.
Mhm.
with some of the rescue TV programs that have been on as of late, one was a blimp doing that into a stadium full of people, and another show showed a helicopter dangling from the roof of a building. So, yeah, we're going to add the
Oh, my.
airplane to it now. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
How frightening
It's
for those
very
people.
crazy.
Mhm.
All right. Let's see what else we got cooking. You guys had a good time for Thanksgiving, I take it. I know, Kelly, you went down over to your house, your home, not your house, your home. We spent time with your mom.
Mhm. Sure
That's
did.
always good.
Yep.
Yes. I had a lot of people at my house that showed up, all my nephews and nieces and brother and sister-in-law and
Mhm.
other friends show up. So we had a good time.
I mentioned that
Very
I
good
had
time.
oysters for Thanksgiving, and I had
Yes.
lots of friends.
Oh,
Mhm.
I know you did.
Mhm.
If I hadn't had family, I would have been over there too. But
Uh,
yeah, we chose to cook at my house because I have ample seating room at my house. So,
mhm,
and it was nice. Got all the young cousins together.
mhm.
So it was fun watching them.
Well, I started on Wednesday. I cooked, I think it was, let's see, 2 gallons of chili.
Mm.
And yes, Bambi was included, was a guest of honor. So I had a
Poor
couple of
Bambi.
gallons of that to go around. And boy, did I tell you what, people liked it. It's good. It's not fattening.
Right.
And just to brown that stuff, to put it in a frying pan to get it brown, you got to add olive oil to it. Otherwise, it sticks to the pan. There's no
Right.
grease,
No grease.
no grease to pour off or anything. And it's very lean. And that makes it very good for you, too. So that's always a good thing.
That sounds marvelous.
But the guest of honor were those oysters, the stump sound oysters that I got out there. And I'm sorry, John and Randy out at, you've been out there. I was out there last week and I cannot remember the name of the seafood place. Anyway, it's on 258, right at the intersection of the airport road, 111. So I highly recommend them. If you're going to order the oysters, though, you might want to plan on it for some time in the future and order them the quantity that you want in advance so they'll have them there ready for you. Because otherwise, it's first come, first serve.
Right. Wow.
And,
Now, where
and
do they get their oysters from?
it's just the Sneeds Ferry
The
area, the
Sneeze
Stump
Ferry.
Sound
Oh,
area.
that's what you
The
said.
ones that I
Stump
got
Sound.
were Stump
Yes.
Sound oysters and fat, salty,
Ooh,
good, gracious.
just like I like them.
Oh my goodness, goodness, goodness. And we did pick out a bunch after we had eaten all we could yesterday. And there are going to be a couple pots, I know, in two different households of oyster stew. Not quite as good as having them, opening them raw. But you know, it'll serve its purpose if you do it the right way.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see, was it Saturday morning or Friday morning? I guess Robbie said, "What would you like for breakfast?" I said, "How about scrambling up some of them bar eggs out there and throw some oysters in them?" Well,
There you
guess
go.
what we had? We had some of that too. So,
Kelly's turning green.
ah, what's the matter, Kelly?
No, I'd eat the eggs, but not the oysters.
Well, these were just the whites of the eggs, since they wanted me to stay on one of them diet things, you know.
Mhm. Yeah.
And since I
It's
killed it
good.
bad on Thursday,
You're
uh,
trying to
may as
make
well
up for it the next
may as well
day.
do something decent.
Mhm.
Oh, goodness gracious. Well, we had
Hey,
an interesting story coming out of Florida this weekend.
oh my, yeah, I'm like, really? What is this all about? Place called Santa Rosa County, and I'm not sure exactly what the town is there, but it is in Florida. Seems like a guy, an unknown resident of that community, homeowner, opened fire on a man breaking into a home, apparently missing his or her target, but it was close enough to allow deputies the opportunity to arrest the man. The shooter is still unidentified.
Oh,
The sheriff of Santa Rosa County, he held a news conference. He wants that person to come forward, and not because he's going to get arrested. He said, Sheriff Bob Johnson said the homeowner is not in any hot water.
interaction with
the
this
opportunity to arrest the
individual
man.
came when he
The
was
shooter
13
is
years
still
old.
unidentified.
Since then, he's had like
The
17
sheriff
arrests. He got out of prison.
He'll hold a
We
news
sent him to prison
conference.
for
He wants that
6.5 years
person
for
to
home
come
invasion.
forward, and not because he's
So
going to get
one of the
arrested. He said
homeowners,
is
they
not
shot at him.
in any
And I want to
hot
say,
water.
as to the person, we don't know which homeowner shot at him.
Interaction with the opportunity to arrest the
individual
man.
came when he
The
was
shooter
13
is
years
still
old.
unidentified.
Since then, he's had like 17 arrests. Welcome to shoot him. He got out of prison.
He'll hold a
We
news
sent him to
conference.
prison for
He wants that
6.5 years
person
for
to
home
come
invasion.
forward,
So
and not
whoever
because
that was,
one of the
you're not in trouble,
homeowners
come see us. We have a gun safety
not
class we
in
put on
any
every other
hot
Saturday.
water.
As to the person, we don't know you'll shoot a lot better, and hopefully you'll save
Interaction with the opportunity to arrest the man.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening.
Okay, that's people out there don't hear anything except one of them. You had the button push so that I could hear it in the beginning. So, but that's all right. It worked out fine. The sheriff there wants the homeowner to come forward, not because they're in hot water, but because they would like to offer them a course. They have them every other Saturday. It's a gun safety course in which they teach you to shoot as well as just teaching you how to handle your gun safely. That's a great little idea, a great little program they're going. I don't know whether it's free or not, but either way, and they want this guy to come and uh, take some lessons and make sure that he knows what he's doing. And the last line in that little thing from the sheriff there in Santa Rosa County, um, we encourage you to shoot straight. It saves us money in the long run.
Oh my.
How often do you hear that coming from a sheriff?
Absolutely.
Interesting to note that District Attorney Ernie Lee recently told me that of the handful of homeowners having to use deadly force to protect themselves or their families here in Onslow County, in every case, DA Lee has ruled that the castle doctrine, often called in other states the stand your ground law, was applied. If someone is breaking into your home, there is no requirement that you retreat or surrender. You may use deadly force, including you may use any kind of force necessary force, including deadly force, if you want to protect yourself, your family, or your home. Along those lines, even if you never plan on carrying a concealed handgun, taking a course where an instructor will go over the actual use of a gun under what circumstances is allowed, that's a good idea. Someone stealing your kid's bicycle from your backyard in the middle of the night ain't one of the reasons you can shoot somebody. In addition to learning more about how to shoot and when to shoot, you may find it more comfortable, even if you don't plan on packing a gun every day of your life. If you have to take a road trip like Kelly does up to see her mom, and you might feel a little bit more comfortable if you have your pistol with you. Changing a flat tire in the middle of the night, for instance, on a lonely road, might be more comforting to know that you have a pistol while you either change the tire or even while you're waiting for roadside help. I can't imagine being stuck on some of the back roads that I've been on and go on, or that Robbie used to travel on coming back from Morehead City every night. Because, by the time she got off in the wintertime, it was dark and traveling those back roads, the Belgrade, Swansburg,
Oh,
Cutoff Loop
yes.
Road, that kinds of stuff.
Poliato.
Yeah, and it's well. Anyway, I think it's a good idea, even if you don't want to carry a gun. It might be wise and more comforting if you learn something about your guns and learn something about the law. Every firearms instructor is required before they can sign off on even giving you a concealed carry permit or the application, the course before you pass the course. Then you go apply to the sheriff's office for your permit, actual permit. But to every one of them, they will teach you when you should shoot, when you should not shoot. We talked about it before we got on the air. A lot of people live in apartments, and a lot of the apartments look exactly alike. And you don't want to wake up in the middle of the night because you heard glass breaking in your back door. If you live in an apartment, walk out with your gun in your hand, and there's a 15-year-old kid standing there, and it happens to be the neighbor kid, He was trying to get into the house, what he thought was his home. He broke a window, and he was getting into the wrong house. He's been out for the evening, and he had too much to drink. So those are the kind of things you don't want to do. It's a responsibility to own a gun and to use it as well. So keep that in mind. Okay.
Very true.
Very, very true.
That's why I didn't like the one time I had to go qualify to get my
Mhm.
concealed carry. And we went
Mhm.
out to the range and he said, "Who wants to go first?" I said, "Please let me go first," because I already knew how to shoot a gun. I been doing it for years, et cetera, et cetera. So I went ahead and did mine and packed up my stuff and left because I did not want to be around a bunch of people that had never shot a weapon
I
before.
agree with that. Yeah.
And, were waving it all through the air. I was just
Mhm.
like,
Yeah.
"Let me shoot. I'm done. I'm going home now."
Yeah. Well, when Robbie took the course, she took it up here at Sportsman's Lodge inside range, and she was shooting. She's using one of my pistols, a 357, little 2.5 inch barrel one, short barrel thing. You shooting 38 specials in it though. But
Yes.
she shot and she took her time. She did not go rapid fire, bam, 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 bam. She lined up precisely. It wasn't like she took 30 seconds for each shot, but she would line up, pull the trigger, line up, pull the trigger, line up, pull the trigger. And her target looked extremely good. She
Good.
shot very well. But she was kind of embarrassed because I did also I shot in one of the lanes that day. And there's a difference in somebody who's shot for the last 200 years, started with muskets and moved forward, but then somebody who has never really fired very much before. So I was comfortable with mine, and my target was, the center of it was eaten up, as it should have been. But she was a little bit like, "Oh God, I wish I could have done that." And the instructor said, "Walk down this line behind us, behind this group." There were about 5 or 6 young men back there shooting at targets. They were all young Marines, and their targets looked a whole lot like Robbie's target looked.
Yep.
No better. They don't concentrate a whole lot, apparently, in shooting handguns as I would think that they should. But anyway, that's me.
Did you hear a lot of ding, ding, dings while you were in there?
Yeah, you always hear that. Finding some metal and not the metal
Yeah, not the
post holding
target,
the
right.
stuff up. Ding! Oh, there's a zero.
Yeah, I used to hear a lot of those over there.
Yeah. Uh, so anyway, so much for that. You got to take a break, don't
Yeah,
you?
we're going to take a break.
All
You
right.
want to take us into it?
You're live and local Real Talk, Freedom 97.1, 1120 a.m. WSME. Marine weather is when we come back. Yeah, WSME, we're right back here. And, so it's been about 3 years, a little over 3 years since Elise and George Papastrad bought Tideline Marine company, been in business here since the 1980s. And they are getting ready to celebrate their fourth Christmas as owners of Tideline. They were very busy last week. We stopped in on Friday and had a little leftover chili with them. And the store is looking a whole lot like Christmas. I could just put it to you like that. They've found a whole lot of gifts and all that sort of good stuff, Christmas type stuff that were up in the little attic, the loft area. And so they brought it out and they're offering those for sale as well. Really good prices on them. Don't get me wrong. These are some cool things and some stuff for your Christmas tree if you wanted. You can also find gifts of pretty much anything for that guy or gal who's an angler in your family or in your circle of friends that you have to buy or you choose to buy gifts for. That's always available at Tideline Marine, whether it's a knife, whether it's small things. You don't have to buy anything extravagant. Whether it's stocking stuffers like special fishing lures that they may like, little things like that make a special time for a fisherman. And I'll tell you, I'll go out on a limb right now for George. If you buy one of the in stock boat motor and trailers and you want to give it to someone for Christmas, and if you want that thing to be a total 100% surprise, I think that Santa George will deliver it in the middle of the night to your
Ooh.
driveway if you're in the Jacksonville area. I'll go out on a limb right now. I may have to ride with him so he doesn't get lost. But anyway, we that would be a really cool thing to do. Tideline Marine, 159 Old Bridge Street on the banks of the New River in downtown Jacksonville.
And today we have a small craft advisory in effect until 3 p.m. this afternoon. Today, west winds 20 to 25 knots with gusts up to 30 knots, diminishing to 15 to 20 knots late this afternoon. Seas 5 to 7 feet, subsiding to 4 to 5 feet this afternoon. Near shore, seas 3 to 5 feet, dominant period 7 seconds. Adjacent sounds and rivers rough, diminishing to choppy late this afternoon. Tonight, northwest winds 15 to 20 knots, becoming north 10 to 15 knots after midnight. Seas 2 to 4 feet, dominant period 6 seconds. Adjacent sounds and rivers choppy, diminishing to a moderate chop after midnight. And Tuesday, northeast winds around 10 knots, seas 2 to 3 feet, dominant period 6 seconds. Adjacent sounds and rivers with a light chop.
Today, sunny, high of 67. It will be a little gusty with gusts as high as 18 miles an hour. Tonight, mostly clear, low 41. Tomorrow, sunny, high of 65 with calm winds. Tomorrow night, increasing clouds, low of 52. And on Wednesday, mostly cloudy, a high of 71 with gusty winds and also showers likely after 1 p.m.
I am just so like, when's the other shoe going to drop? Because it's going to have some cold weather here to come in and really knock us on our backsides, I think.
I think next week they're talking, first week of December, they were talking about cold coming back in.
Well,
Mhm.
But rivers, I mean, the water's really rough today.
Thursday,
Yeah,
it's going to be
5 to
about
7.
53.
Yeah, 5 to 7 foot seas are not where you want to
Yeah,
be.
gust up to
Mm-mm.
30 knots. Whoa.
Nope.
Nope.
Keep that.
Yes.
Well, this
Well.
day, 3 weeks ago, started out with a bit of a bang for me and an awakening that none of us are invincible. Kind
Yes.
of woke you guys up too, didn't it?
Yes.
Yep.
It's only been 3 weeks. It seems like it's been 3 months.
Mhm.
I
It
haven't
does
even
seem
been
like
back
it's
to the studio, so I'm doing everything remotely from home. I had a minor scrap with the much younger ticker I had back in 1999 before most of the people living in Onslow County were even born. Doctors put in a stent because I had an artery that was mostly blocked at the time. Probably came from all those years of good eating, not good
Mhm.
eating habits, perhaps, just lots of good eating. The doctors also told me to reduce my stress level. Ugh,
Yeah.
that's tough. That was tough. So far, so good, though, until 3 weeks ago. Even after getting the ticker checked on a regular basis, things were apparently happening that exams and electronic devices did not pick up on. After a collapse on the air 3 weeks ago this morning, I spent 10 days in a cardiac unit at Carolina East in Newbern. It culminated with a quadruple bypass procedure where a team of surgeons, great people, and a whole bunch of assistants opened up my chest cavity, stopped my heart, put bypasses around four blocked arteries, and were able to get the heart going again, thank goodness. And the healing process was begun and is continuing today. Now, here's what I want y'all to do, a warning to all of us. If you've had cardiac issues in the past, and perhaps you had a stent put in, or perhaps it was just something, and or you've ignored some of the warning signs that something ain't quite right, but you start to feel better after taking a rest or a nap, you're fooling no one but the biggest fool of all. That was me. I passed off a lot of stuff to growing older. Do a favor for yourself and your family. Get regular physicals. Tell your doctor about everything. Don't hold stuff back. If the doc just blows it off, get a second or third opinion. If I can't get an answer when I know something is wrong with my car, you know what I'll do? I'll find another mechanic. Why aren't we as smart enough to take care of ourselves as we are when we take care of our cars? There are specialists out there, and while they as individuals might not be in complete agreement, I learned that as a team, the cardiologists came away with a consensus in my case, all because one member of that team, just one, wanted me to do more than a nuclear stress test. All right, folks, I know a lot of you have to do stress tests. She put me on a treadmill. There's a difference between a treadmill stress test and a nuclear stress test. The EKG that showed I had little to worry about when I was at rest showed 4 blocked arteries when I was walking that treadmill. That's how I ended up with my chest opened up and those guys fixing what I had wrong with me. Still got a lot of time. It's been 3 weeks. I still got 4 to 6 or so to go before I will be healed enough that I can resume normal work. But I'm getting better, and I'm headed over to have a chat with the folks at the cardiac care unit, the rehab unit today to start my rehab process. Just please, if it ain't feeling right, you get up in the morning or you wake up overnight and there's just something not quite right. Don't blow it off. Get fixed. There are miracle workers out there. I'll tell you that right now.
I agree. And Rayford, we have a caller.
Okay.
Good morning. Who's this?
Hello,
Hey, Howard.
this is Howard.
How are you?
Hey, how's everybody doing? Rayford, you sound great.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Not that the ladies don't sound great, but they didn't have what you had as far as your surgery goes. So
Yeah.
I'm very, very happy to hear that you're sounding strong. You're sounding really strong today. So,
Hey,
but
hey, Howard.
I wanted to share a story with you. Back in the glory days, I used to sell cars, brand new cars, for a Ford dealership up north. And by the luck of the draw, when people call in, whatever salesman picks up gets the call. So a guy identified himself as a vice president at Microsoft in Seattle, and he says, I want to do something special for my dad. And the reason I'm telling you this is an idea maybe for George. You were just talking about Christmas gifts and stuff that people can get their loved ones and have a boat delivered. Well, anyway, he says, I want to do something special for my dad. He's never had a new truck ever in his life, and he's on a fixed income, barely making ends meet. He says, and I want to get him a brand new F-250 crew cab with a Western plow and a bed liner in it. And by the time he got done decking it out, it was like $62,000. And this is back in the 90s, so you could imagine what that puppy would cost today. But the thing is, so the thing is, we had to figure out a way to get him into the dealership. You can't exactly say, come on down, we wanted to surprise him. So I got a big red bowl, put it in the area. It was like on a Saturday where they clean up vehicles and just as you come in to get service and stuff. So the thing is, we got him in by saying that he won a sweepstakes for a Ford jacket, a Ford leather jacket. And so they brought a movie camera. His family had no idea what was going on. And so I walked him back to get his jacket, and he passed the truck with the big red bow on it. He says, oh, my God, I would love something like that. And I said, what was that, sir? He says, I would love a truck like that, but I'll never get one. I said, that's where you're wrong. Merry Christmas from your son, Steve. And he burst into tears. Oh, my God. So I can imagine you guys doing something like that with a boat. You know what I mean? Get them in the tide line and, have a bow on the boat. And somebody would really, especially somebody that isn't well-to-do, and, they're just, and no matter if they're well-to-do or not, somebody that would appreciate a boat like that. I thought that you'd get a kick out of that.
It's a cool
Oh,
idea.
yeah, that's a great story.
Mm-hmm. I like
Yeah.
it.
All right, that's all I got, guys. You guys have a good show, and just don't work too hard now, Rayford.
No, not me. I got a wife. She's helping take care of me. And a lot of folks came
Well, that's
over for
good.
Thanksgiving, and they did all the work.
Awesome.
Yeah. Don't make me bring my dog over there and make sure you don't work too hard. So,
There you go.
all right. You take care, guys.
Howard, are you there?
Yeah.
I just wanted to let you know I made that stuffing with the sausage, and it was so good.
You made the stuffing?
Yes, but not for Thanksgiving. I did this as a casserole the day before and ate it. It was so good.
You liked it? Oh,
Yes,
I'm
I
glad.
did.
I really am
Thank
glad.
you so much
I know.
for that.
I know. Kelly made it. No problem. Kelly made it the year before and liked it.
Yes,
So
it was
I
very
made it
good.
this
yeah.
time.
So
Yeah.
you made it this time?
Yeah, oh yeah. My brother had was very happy to see it because he remembered it from last year, and he was hoping I would make it. I was like, heck yeah! I said I got this from
Yeah.
Howard, one of our loyal, faithful listeners down in Jacksonville, and this is
Right.
amazing. It's changed stuffing in our house. They'll never eat regular stuffing ever again.
Well, it sounded so good.
I know.
had it for dinner Wednesday
I know
night
people have
after the
told
show
me they like
Wednesday.
the stuffing better than the turkey.
Yes,
You know.
it was
Yeah.
very good.
So
And
yeah. So
when-
I'm glad
yeah.
you guys enjoyed it.
Howard, my
You know,
brother
it's-
normally will not eat stuffing. He loved this. Yeah, so that's saying a lot right there.
And then I was able this year to get the Tennessee Pride sausage, the actual sausage that the recipe called for.
Yeah.
It doesn't make a difference, but
Yeah.
they had it at Publix. If I could give them a little a
I
little
love
plug,
Publix.
but they had it at Publix, buy one get one free, and ooh,
Oh my.
that brought back memories of home. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm not a stuffing person either, and stovetop and stuff like that, yuck.
Yeah.
But this stuff, whoo. So I'm glad you liked it, and I hope everybody
did.
had a good Thanksgiving.
Yes.
You too.
All right, Howard. You have
Okay,
a
you
good
got-
day.
Yeah, you too now. Be safe, you guys.
Bye.
Thank you, Howard.
Bye.
Oh, I've got to try that stuffing. I
I'm
don't
telling you,
generally
Rayford,
make
It
stuffing.
was good.
It's good. Like I said, my brother won't eat stuffing normally, but his face lit up when he saw that I had made it.
We talked about it Wednesday morning so much
It's
that
good.
I went to the store and bought the sausage because I had plenty of stuffing, and
Mhm.
I made it in a small casserole and ate it
I
for
made it
dinner.
in
That was my
casserole, yeah.
dinner.
Yeah,
It
it's
was so
amazing.
good.
It's so good.
So
Yeah.
good.
Break time.
Yep, it's break
Your
time.
turn.
All right, we're live in local real talk on Freedom 97.1, 1120 a.m. WSME. We'll be right back after the break. And we are back.
And we are back. You know, we've talked about you a bunch of times, ladies, about certain words being hijacked by one group or a cause or whatever, and changes the meaning of that word, and then some of the rest of us refuse to use that word anymore for but forgetting what the original meaning was. One of those words, patriots, once known as revolutionaries, continentals, rebels, or American Whigs, they were the colonists of the 13 colonies who rejected British rule during the American Revolution and declared the United States of America an independent nation. Patriots is how we got to become who we are today. Today, every day of the week, I get emails from various groups mostly misusing that word, patriot. With every email, I can see racist, un American, obstructionist, where patriot is written. In counting a sampling of these patriotic emails, it seems you're not a patriot unless you support the right wing agenda of the Republican Party.
Lord, here we go.
That's
Thing
ridiculous.
is, not all patriots believe in the Republican agenda, nor do they believe in the Democrat agenda. In other words, patriots are dividing the nation into two groups. A division of two political beliefs does not make one side or the other more patriotic. True patriots believe in the way of America. Yes, internally, there have been and always will be different political factions within with different agendas and different groups. It does not mean, or it should not mean, that those on either side are un-American. When all else is said and done, this nation, undivided, must be able to stand up to those evil forces that exist in other governments, not ours, and other governments who want to take over this nation. The more divided we are, the easier it will be to accomplish their evil missions. Heaven knows, good gracious, Democrats and Republicans are so split internally right now that it's becoming more and more difficult to pick one party over the other. That's clearly the reason that so many disgruntled former members of both parties have left for calmer waters. They're called independents or unaffiliated voters. Even among those independents, there's a split, those leaning more conservative than those who are more liberal. The difference, as I see it, with the unaffiliated voters, they don't jump up and down and scream at each other. Unaffiliated voters get along with themselves better than Republicans and Democrats get along with themselves in their respective parties. They're not nearly as vicious, and if anyone deserves to be called a patriot, that honor should go to all unaffiliated voters. I believe that if this nation were attacked right now, the call to arms, you would find independents standing up, joining forces, and going to battle. Unfortunately, reading my emails, I find that radical elements of our voting society have hijacked the term. There's not a lot of difference between the extremists on either side. True patriots support the Constitution and the American way of life. Is our government perfect? Far from it. But if Americans, truly patriotic Americans, would work together in a way to make it better, to put their combined American efforts to get this country back on an even track, we would once again reclaim our rightful place as the best nation on earth.
Well said.
Agreed.
You know, it's not that we have to. Yes, we do have to learn to work together. It doesn't mean that just because you vote against whatever proposal I've got, that I'm going to go out and scream and holler and carry on and go to war with you. You know, what could I do to this, sir, that would make this bill appropriate for you, where you could support it? What could I do without changing the whole meaning of the bill? The chances are sound minds could get together and make that happen.
I agree with that too. And it's just you see so many of our electeds voting on a bill, and somebody will start reading the bill and see one thing and then just start blasting that elected official to the moon and back without
Absolutely.
even knowing the full bill. And we've seen so much of that over the last couple of years. Look how they went after Walter Jones
Oh, heavens.
when he disagreed with, when he voted against a bill or with a bill, vice versa. And then, but the bill was like 500 pages long. Did you read the whole bill? No, I just know
Nope.
that he voted against this or with that, so, and it just, the mudslinging, the criticism was just out of this world. Well, I think Greg
I
Murphy,
was going to say it happened to Greg
yeah,
Murphy as well.
he's getting
Yeah,
a lot
it
of it
does.
too.
Happens to Tom Tillis all the time.
Right. We had a group here in Onslow County that wanted the GOP to censor Greg Murphy because they didn't like some of his votes. I mean, come on. Why don't you just put his shoes on and go sit in Congress for a while and learn
If
how
you
it works before you
if you
start?
if you can do a better job, you know what? In 2 years, you have a chance to run. Go for it.
Yeah, that's right.
Doesn't matter. I
That's
hope
right.
you do. I encourage each and every person out there who wants to run with a better plan. Don't just run for the sake of running, but if you got a plan. Now, along those lines, there cannot be one agenda item, just a single agenda item. Because whatever your one agenda item is, it might not apply to everybody out there. They might not really care. If I ran for something, in other words, I would be running on, well, let's just take me for example. I'd want all the shallow draft inlets opened up. I want to stabilize them. You know what? There's a whole lot of stuff that's inside those inlets than just inlets. North Carolina itself, we are 400 miles to get to the mountains. There's a lot of stuff in between, and those shallow draft inlets may not apply to everybody. But if that's the only campaign thing that I've got, and that's all I got to do, no, I don't deserve to get elected.
I'm waiting for the day. I'm waiting to see it, especially locally, where unaffiliates can actually run without having to get a petition. I mean, become an actual party and actually win a race.
Well, I think unaffiliated should be a party, personally. That's just my opinion, though. So,
Yeah, unaffiliated by the very name, they're a non-party.
right.
yeah. But you could be the unaffiliated party. You know what I
Independents.
mean? Independent, and call it the independent party.
Yeah. Well, they are known as independents in
Yeah.
a lot of places. A guy named Sanders,
Mm-hmm.
he lists himself as an independent,
Mm-hmm.
runs as a Democrat,
Yeah.
but
So-
he's listed himself as his party affiliation
Just-
as an independent.
Make it,
right.
make independent a party. So,
And of course, he's so far out
Ooh.
there in la la land that he gives independents a bad name.
Listen to this. The new figures as of November 26th for Onslow County. Democratic, 24,470. Republican, 45,636. And unaffiliated,
Oh my God.
47,264.
yeah.
Well, the
They're
thing is,
growing
we're
in
growing
numbers.
in
Yeah.
numbers, total numbers of registered voters. That's
Yes.
the important thing to me.
119,072. So we
Mhm.
did pick up some, yes.
Yeah. So if the people will get out, and a lot of the folks, I guess, who probably go to the polls these days or go down to the Board of Elections, and there's like just got through an election and there was so much turmoil and this and that and these and those, they'll sit there and say, I don't really know what I want to do. Well, you have an option. Register to vote as an independent. That way, when voting time comes in a primary, I don't think people quite understand this yet. During the primary, you get to choose either a Democrat ballot or a Republican ballot. It'll be your choice at that time. No, you can't have both. I tried. That didn't work.
I think you should be able to have both if you're independent. That way you can pick and choose. That, but once again,
I think
mean,
they should have one ballot with everybody's name on it
yeah,
and
and
pick
just
who
let
you
people
want,
pick. Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
regardless of
Oh,
what's behind their name.
Mm-hmm.
Jason Dedmond over there is saying, "Oh my
He's funny.
God, would y'all
Yeah.
hush up?"
He's gonna be throwing darts at our picture.
Oh
but
my
yeah,
gosh.
yeah.
He said,
He'll be
"I haven't
calling
even got
soon.
Oh,
I haven't even got through with this election yet, and you're already wrapping up for something else."
Yeah.
Now
We gotta
but
take a break.
seriously, yeah, you do.
Yep. Let's take a break real quick. We're live in local real talk on Freedom 97.1, 1120 a.m. WSME. We'll be right back. And we are back.
And howdy, y'all.
Yeah, hold on, my
Yeah, we're good. We're
headphones.
just looking up numbers while we were on commercial break, looking at all the counties surrounding us, the
Uh-huh.
Republicans versus the unaffiliates. And Carteret, Craven, Beaufort, Pender, they're all leading Republican over the independents. It's only Onslow that the independents have taken over
Uh-huh.
in this area right here.
That's because of us.
Yeah.
No, I think it's because of the fighting within the local Republican Party.
I was going to actually say that, but yeah, I believe it is because of us
Mhm.
because we keep talking about that fighting
Yeah.
because that fighting faction among you Republicans. I'm like, yeah, can y'all just kick people out of the party?
Apparently not.
Huh.
Apparently not.
My God, if you could get kicked out of a classroom for holding your thumb back and pointing a finger at somebody, making it look like a gun, it looks like for all the insurrection that these individuals, not the Republican Party, but these individuals within the Republican Party cause, that should be grounds for boot them out of the party.
Well, I tell you, just looking up Pitt County, New Hanover County, they're unaffiliate led over the
Okay.
Republicans. So, but
But locally, when you, the surrounding counties that actually touch Onslow, because somebody had made the comment, "Oh, it's everywhere." It is not everywhere.
that's right. That's
It
what
is
people
here.
kept saying to me.
And that's what people might want to wake up and pay attention to. There's a problem within the local Republican Party here,
It's called
and it needs to be
insurrection.
fixed. It needs to be addressed properly and dealt with, and this nonsense needs to stop. Or more and more people are going to go into, to independent.
Well, you need some really strong leadership. Not that you haven't had it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not putting anybody down here, but you do need some really strong leadership. Somebody who can take the bull by the horns. And I do think Lee was one of those individuals. She was out there and did not take things personally, and
no, you can't.
led the
But
way.
I think it's time that some people be asked to leave the troublemakers.
Mhm.
Go on with yourself. Go start your own thing.
Yeah. Just don't join the independents. We don't want you.
I'm gonna give my voter registration. Here you go.
Well, I've never seen more pettiness than what I've seen at this local Republican Party. It is sad and pathetic.
I thought you had to be 18 to be a member of any party.
I did too.
Not the case.
Apparently, you
Man,
got to be
sir.
mentally 5.
There you go.
So,
Hey, I got a bunch. I get
Yeah.
a bunch of emails, so I'm gonna talk about those when we come back as
Okay.
well.
let's take our Fox News break, top of the hour break. We will be right back in about 60 seconds. And we are back. I just wanted to hear that intro music, see what it sounded like. So, yeah. I've
you
never
don't get a
listened
chance
to it all the way
listen to
through.
much.
No. I just want to hear what it sounded like. Okay. Sounds like something out of the 70s, early 80s TV
Well,
show. Yeah.
we're a station of the 70s and 80s
Yep,
and
that's
90s.
true. Yep.
We
That's
play
what it sounds
music
like.
for that.
Yep.
But we found a nice little plug here for Lee. Lee sells advertising for us, and if you
Mhm.
guys want to get in on some really good deals, we're working on a few little things here, and I'm working on some trivia stuff for like 5 different days of the week, a different sponsor. for trivia 5 days of the week. I think I've got one of them done. And so, that always gets a lot of attention.
Mhm.
So, and it'd be trivia related to your industry or your business or whatever. So you might want to reach out to Lee if you would like to be part of that plan. Because I mean, there are only 5. One is likely gone. That means there are 4 left. So if you want to be part of that, and this will be on a weekly basis, once a week, so you can give her a shout out.
Yeah.
The one thing that I have found out, and because I read a lot of emails, I ditch most of them, honestly. But sitting around here, I've read more emails lately than I've ditched right up front. I don't get a lot of emails from political sources, these various parties and these various affiliations. Uh, Joe Biden wants you. Can Joe Biden count on you? Can Nancy Pelosi count on you? Haven't heard from her since the primary, by the
Mhm.
way. uh, but it says they all end with the same question, different phrases of it. How much money can we count on from you to guarantee our candidate gets more votes than the other candidate? Well, I'm going to tell you this. The Republicans nationwide, from coast to coast, from sea to shining sea, are smarter than the Democrats. The Democrats are the ones sending me these requests for donations. The Republicans are at least smart enough to realize, and that ain't going to happen. So quit waste. I'm going to quit wasting our breath. But the Democrats keep doing it. I don't know about you, but I have little knowledge of the issues facing the people of Georgia every day. And I'm not sure how this good old country boy from North Carolina can make an informed decision based on national news attention, and especially on emails and online news groups. At least they make it look like they're a legitimate news group online. They ain't. Most of them are not. Carrie Lake, you know her?
No.
She's got a lot of attention in her run for governor of Arizona. Apparently, it's a close election, and according to Carrie, on company Arizona, one Arizona county is holding up the process. Matters not to me personally. That's the state's business. If there are shenanigans, call in the feds. But in a weekend email, Carrie seems to think that I can do something about the holdup there. They can't get all the votes counted. Of course, her final tag in her email, quote, I want you to know, Arizona, I will continue fighting until we restore confidence and faith in our elections, end quote. But please, good old boy from North Carolina, send me $35 to $2,900, which check one of those boxes to help me fight for what's right. To be honest with you, I went through Arizona once, 1973. No reason for my dog to get into that fight. Ain't nothing there for me or my dog. I got nothing in Georgia. This means anything to me. They want outside money, and that's what happens in North Carolina too. They want outside money to help influence elections, and the people that they're soliciting money from, they don't have a clue what's going on in North Carolina. They're only responding to politically motivated party affiliations. That's it. They're contributing to a D or an R. They're not to a person.
Well, how many emails have you got from Herschel Walker?
4,227.
I'm right there with you. Every day I go in and delete 50 or more. I'm like,
And the same thing for that other
stop.
clown. And it's like, come on, please, guys. Uh, you're begging me for money. I'm in North Carolina. I'm in North
Yes.
Carolina. I don't care what happens in Georgia. If I have to drive to Florida, I care about your speed limit. That's it, Jack.
Right. Oh, they'll take anything they can get right now.
Mhm.
But I'm just like, Lord. I mean, my email is, because North Carolina sells those email addresses.
Apparently.
And gosh darn, I mean, I can go in there right now and there'll be dozens of them from
Well,
different people within the party trying to get you to contribute to
it,
Herschel.
I don't have any of that. How'd I get so lucky? Yay.
I don't know, but give me your secret.
Nope. I don't know what it is, but I'm
Because if
clearly
you
doing
ever
something
register
right.
with the state for anything, well, of course, my email got in there
Mhm.
through the local party, but they had your email. Yeah, but you haven't been active in it for
No,
quite
I'm
some
not active. I
time.
can't deal with the nonsense.
Yes.
So, yeah, but no, I don't. Look, y'all can keep getting those emails. I'm not getting them, and I don't want them. So, yay
I don't
me,
know.
yay
I just,
me.
I don't. How would you figure that I'm a Democrat? Because that's the most of the stuff that I get, and they say,
Well, they're targeting you, Rayford, because you are independent. So they're like, we can sway you to our side. You may not register as a Democrat, but we want your vote.
no, they want my
Basically.
money.
Yeah, well, yeah, that and they want
That's
your money and your vote. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
all right. So far, I haven't gotten any today, but from last night after I cleaned out my email, got 7 more just last
Now, I
night.
just got like a bunch of ads from for sales, black, Cyber Monday sales and that kind of thing. But
Well, I get that too,
I
but
got like through over the night, looks like I got like 120, and I'm literally saying I got 120. I didn't even know know what some of these stores even are. So I'm on that kind of a list. That y'all know that's how much Amazon I buy. Just saying.
well, I'm getting here. Let's see what
Mhm.
this one says from our good old boy, Ralph Warnock. He
Oh,
says, I
yeah.
need $10,316. Help me out. Where do you come up with that?
What a weird number.
That's usually the
What a
way it
weird
is.
number.
Oh,
I
here
need
I've got.
$10,316. Can you contribute a little bit for me? Help me out here, boy.
Yikes.
Help me out.
Here's
Good God.
one. No reply at email.nrsc. Failure is an option. Final end of the month go before that Georgia Senate race.
Yeah.
Another one from Chairman Michael Watley, which these are just, spam emails. Herschel Walker needs your help.
Yeah.
And
I
then
get those.
official Republicans, we have been totally outspent in this race. And it goes on and on. And I'm like, stop. It's just
My.
crazy.
Well,
So,
Rayford, I've got a story
shoot.
I want to talk about. So, when parents send their kids off to college, yeah, there might be, over the 18, but they're still your child. And you still, especially lately, worry about their safety on campus.
Oh, yeah.
And a UNC mom wants to advocate for change about when alerts are sent through the text messages for on-campus sex crimes. Her son was sexually assaulted, and it was 5 hours before
Really?
the text. And I know these texts go out because my youngest daughter, she graduated from ECU, and when something would happen, she would get texts. But what is scary about this, that the mom's like, when there's been a sex crime, it needs to go out immediately. 'Cause she's like, especially because in the UNC system, freshmen are required to live in the dorms.
Right.
And so, upperclassmen are not like at ECU, upperclassmen couldn't live in dorms. They didn't have enough space. But, yeah. And at the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, from August to currently this month, there have been 13 reported sex crimes. That's a lot at a campus.
Well, let's go back to the immediacy of
Yeah.
making such a report.
Yeah.
Now, I know, and I'm sure Robin
Mhm.
is just as aware of it as I am.
Yeah.
Not a lot of, but a significant number, enough claims of sexual assault come in that ain't true.
Yeah.
Okay. Not a majority, but a few. At what point in time do you want to spend an hour talking with the victim before you put out a report? 5 to 6 hours might be a long time. If it's a brutal attack,
Mhm.
obviously you want that out immediately because that is assault and rape.
Oh, that's what happened to her son, and they waited 5 hours before the text went out.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's what her problem is. And 11 of the 13 sex crimes this semester happened in the dorm. And at the same time frame, NC State had 5 and Duke had 1.
Mm.
And they're saying that see, because the universities are required to release their safety information because they get federal funding.
Yep.
According to UNC's annual report, in 2021 there were 19 reported rapes on campus, 14 in 2020, and 20 in 2019. And in 2021, Duke and NC State had 5 rapes on campus.
Mhm.
But the mom is just like, look, see, her son was sexually assaulted by a stranger. It wasn't someone he knew. And she said she wants she wants to see it's a Clery Act. It's a law that dictates when universities must send out alerts for crimes. And she said, her son was sexually assaulted at 5 p.m. and the alert did not go out for 5 hours. She said you could have been in the dorm and not even know it had happened. Which she's saying it could, if someone could have been stopped or whatever because it was a stranger that assaulted her son. And the Clery Act states alerts must be sent in a timely manner for incidents that pose a serious or continuing threat to safety. And it says the law itself doesn't define what's considered timely. So they want to work to try to change that.
They need to clarify that.
They do need to clarify that. What is timely? Yeah.
And again, not to make excuses or anything else, but if a female who's been out on a date comes in and claims that the guy raped her, or a guy who's out with another guy on a date comes in and claims the guy raped him, then you need to ask some specific questions and boil this thing down to, like, I'm not trying to get even with them. Because if it's one of those, I'm trying to get even with them, then you don't need to be putting the entire campus on alert.
Well, I think that what some of the students, because this is a WRAL news story, they have said, some students at Chapel Hill said they make a habit of checking that crime log because the Clery Act says universities must post public crime logs showing the crimes happening on or near campus. So what some students do is they check the crime logs rather than relying on alerts because they're saying we don't always get the alerts and they want to know, which I understand because, these kids are walking downtown. They're walking, there's a lot of walking on campuses. Right. So I get it. But so this mom just wants a little more timely, which as a mom, I understand. I get it.
Sure. I do too.
Yeah. I mean, and the fact that there's already been 13 from August to now that's kind of concerning to me as a mom and as a counselor.
It is.
It's concerning. But I mean, what do you do? It's hard. I don't have an answer for that, but maybe
of course,
figuring out that timeline for reporting.
Right.
Stay in groups of 2 or more.
Agreed.
That's number one.
And don't everybody be intoxicated. The other one, I'm not saying it happens every time, but I'm just saying when they're walking downtown and come back, have somebody responsible to kind of keep a check on everybody.
Absolutely.
I mean, I was, when I was young and it was hard sometimes, like trying to herd cats, but you have to have somebody respond, and you never leave your friend ever.
Nope.
In a bar, in a whatever, never leave. No, we're going back to no. Everyone, you go together and you leave together, no matter what. Yeah.
Did you have somebody on?
We
the
do
phone?
have. It's Tim, I think. Hey, Tim, how are you?
What's up this morning?
How are you?
I hope everybody I'm fine over stuff.
Yeah.
I ate Thanksgiving Day. It took me 3 days to get over it. Modest Friday. I swear, my wife, St. Diane, and my precious Natalie, now they really throwed it out because she asked me, I think it was a week and a half ago, she said, you going to fry turkey? And yeah, I'll see. And I couldn't find any peanut oil. I couldn't even find half and half. And I tried one with that vegetable oil one time, and they eat it, but I didn't care for it. So I walked in there and told her, and very few of them like turkey anyway at the house. I said, just cook a turkey breast, honey. So I didn't have to do anything. I didn't have to do nothing but take out the trash
the best way
and do the taste testing, and oh my goodness, and I did eat. And we had that fine oyster dressing. And let me tell you, folks, us being over here on the coast, now you lived off oyster dressing. Now, a lot of people did, and it was. My wife got used to it. She didn't never do it, but now since we got together, she started doing it. She liked it, and Man, it was good. But yeah, Rayford, I thought about you cooking all them oysters. I declare.
Oh,
I declare.
I tell you, I had some great help. I'm going to have to
Oh,
call
yeah.
out John Jasinski and down at Tideline, and also George. They made
Yep.
absolutely sure I would lift nothing at
Yeah.
all. And we're talking about 5 pounds.
Of course.
That's too close to 5 pounds. Forget about it. And
Yeah.
so they did the work. And they said they had actually learned how to wash oysters last year because I taught them.
Yeah.
Thank God I did.
Oh
especially
yeah, I
dressing.
mean, I went to an oyster roast Saturday night with some of my St. Diane's family, and they had gone and bought. They said a bushel of oysters. I didn't see it, but they wanted to roast them, which is fine. And we were sitting there and individually cleaned them. That's what they wanted to do. And I sat right
Really?
there with the water hose, and like, oh yeah. And I
I
told
didn't
them
have 4 bushels to
What's-
clean.
what's
about my
roasting?
daddy.
That's where you,
Yeah,
like,
I told him
put 'em
about
on
my
a grill.
daddy made a basket. My
Roast 'em
daddy
over
made a
fire.
basket one time out of rabbit wire and copper tube, and he made a basket. And he'd take them suckers in there, and he'd pour a bunch of them in there, and he'd start turning them, and he'd spray them, and they'd tumble and all that. And I said, man, they were clean. And we got to talk. There's one little nephew there of mine. He's really getting into it now. He's old enough to get into this stuff. And we're sitting there, me being from the coast, and we got to talking about oysters. I said, well, you got your selects. And I said, Daddy said you had medium selects. I said, then you had coon oysters. And then one guy looked at me like I was being racist. I said, no. He said, that's what my daddy called the small clusters. They were real. You'd have 3, 4
Yeah.
little oysters in a cluster, and they were real small. And I got to laughing at them. They thought I was racist.
You want to know how they got the name?
And
on low tide, the tide goes out, and the
Yeah.
oyster is above the sand, above the mud,
right,
sticks out a little bit,
Yeah.
and raccoons can come in on low tide, and that's what
Yeah.
they will get.
Yep, that's what my daddy said. He said you could go out there on low tide and come out, they'd be scattered and gone. You see raccoon tracks everywhere.
Yeah, that's right.
And you're right. And it tickled me, though, because, this day and time, you got to watch everything you say.
Oh, yeah.
And that little kid, and I explained it to him, and I pulled one out that it was kind of like a cluster. I said, this will be close. They had bought some, what we call medium select. And I showed it to him, and this kid was fascinated beyond belief. Now, and I showed him how Sneeze Ferry people used to shuck oysters. You go in from behind. If they didn't pop open, you went in from behind where the hinge was and popped. You stuck your oyster knife in there and turned it, and it would pop.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Now, he got good. Now, he got good at it. And he about 10, 11 years old. Now, buddy, he hung on me, and we talked about it. And the next thing I knew, I had all this. And I said, y'all don't understand. My daddy, when the month of May hit, my daddy would start foaming at the mouth until the 1st of September.
Mm.
Because we always got oysters with a month in it, with R in it. And I said, he would sit there and salivate. And I said, my daddy worked Sears Roebuck, and he would go out and fix people's appliances and stuff like that. And I said, after hours or something, if he didn't get a Sears call, he'd have one of his friends. Well, it weren't nothing starting in September, October, November, right around. He'd come home with a bushel of oysters. And you were going to have them. And Mama would save the paper milk carton. And we'd open up them oysters and eat and what have you. And she would put them in them paper milk cartons. But this shrimp the same way.
Yep.
Put them in the paper milk cartons and fill them full of water and put them in the freezer. And you can have oysters anytime you want. I mean, people probably don't do that no more. But we did shrimp the same way. When shrimp season started, we go down there and Daddy buy 100 pounds. They were 25 cents a pound back then with the heads off. And I know, Ray, you remember that. The other two may not. But, yeah, I mean, it was fascinating to them. And I'm just, man, am I that old? That's all I kept saying. Am I that old? But it was fascinating with them people. I really enjoyed it. And I was opening up about 4 oysters at one, and it just forgot to find those. Next, I had 2 women, one on each side with a boat.
Yeah,
and I was opening it up and giving it to them, and they worked me to the death.
I've done it many
But
times.
yeah, I was thinking about you. You were sitting there opening up them oysters, and I told them about you and told them what happened to you and stuff like that. And I said, he always has a big oyster roast. Always cooks a bunch of oysters. And I said, at Thanksgiving, I said, oh, I'm glad y'all did this. And we gonna have to do this every year. Yep. I said,
There
let
you
me
go.
get the oysters next time.
There you go.
But Rayford, I'm glad you're doing better. I said, when you get, I know Robbie's probably got my phone number blocked off of you, because I tell you, I can teach you how to cheat. I can teach you how to cheat. Candy and Robbie will probably put an APB out on me and probably put a wanted poster out. But yeah,
Well,
I didn't cheat much, but I'm so glad you're doing fine.
hanging in here.
And I'm Kelly. I'm glad you got back from up yonder. I mean,
did.
I think about stuff like that.
Track fit was crazy, but yeah.
Of course.
Going
and
and
see,
coming.
this is the
Mm-hmm.
first year in years
Mm-hmm.
we didn't leave early Friday morning to go to Mount Airy. And that's always been a tradition with us. And we couldn't go because there was she's got 2 young workers in there with her, and both of them got pregnant this year, and both of them had their children, so she's the only one in the office, her and the CED. So she couldn't go. But I told her it was fine. But you know what? I was bored to death. I could not, I could not believe I did stuff around the house, but I'm supposed to be up there walking up down Main Street.
Yeah.
It was something else.
You can make up for it
I
between
told her-
now and Christmas.
He will.
Oh yeah, I told her she had to. I said, I will run up there Saturday morning, come back Saturday evening. I said that's not a problem. But yeah, but I'm glad y'all doing all right, Rayford, especially you.
Thank you, sir.
I want you to do fine. You were talking about the cardiologist and stuff like that. I have to. You talk about the nuclear stress test, and I remember my wife having to go in there, and the doctor told us that's the number 2. Number 1 is a heart cath. Number 2 is a nuclear stress test. And she looked over there at me. Is that the one you have to do every year? I said, oh yeah. No, I don't want that. She didn't want to walk, but I said that's fine.
There's one with the nuclear test. You do not walk. There's one like that, but the one that I do is a
Yeah,
nuclear,
there is.
They put the
But I
dye
have
in
to
me,
walk.
but I have to walk. So because I have
Yeah.
to get up to a certain heart rate.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Yeah.
I have to walk too. There is one on the nuclear part. You do not have to walk, and they'll put
Right.
in there and inject something in you, and you stress.
Yeah.
And that's for people who have a hard time walking. I mean, I've had people come in there in wheelchairs, have them take stress tests,
I understand.
and you know, oh man, but no, I walk. I mean, I'm able to. They tell me they find it out quicker.
They
About the
do.
walking part.
Before I was through with the test, they were showing me come on the EKG, because they got an EKG running constantly on the stress test, and they showed me this. Here's one, here's one, here's one, and here's one, and they showed me a like EKG before the stress test began, and there was nothing showing. It was still there, but it did not show up on an EKG prior to that. So if I'd gone no further,
that's right.
Done.
Yeah. I'm tickled for you. I mean, I hate that it happened to you. And you know what I thought about is very. I'm so glad it didn't happen while you were in Bon Air.
Oh, I know that too.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think. I thought about it after it happened. Man, what if he'd been out there diving and had that done, and had that happen? You're a very lucky man.
There's always something.
Well, you know,
Very
he
lucky
came
man.
back to 3-4 months ago when you had that first episode in the studio, and we thought it was something else.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it was sugar.
So,
Yep.
yes.
And I laid it to that because he quit intaking sugar altogether.
Right.
And you can't do that. And that's why I got on him about it. I called him and got on. You can't do that, right?
Nope.
You got to do it gradually.
There's a lot of things.
That was the second of the 3 doctors I fired this year.
Right.
Who told me to
Yeah.
get off of all that.
Mm-hmm.
I fired some myself. I've got a good staff right now, I think.
So have
But be good. I'm gonna get off here. I'm rambling. I got to
We'll
go.
take a break.
Y'all behave. Be good. And I'm glad everybody made it back home
Yep.
safely. Glad you had a good time. You didn't have to
Thank
go
you.
anywhere.
That's right.
Well, y'all behave. I will talk to y'all later and have fun.
Thank you, Tim.
Yeah,
Well,
thank you, Ray.
Lee went all the way down to Hampstead. That's a good 35 miles away. So
That was
you made-
yesterday.
Yep.
Yesterday.
Yeah.
But no, I will tell you this: as soon as the last person left my house Thanksgiving, I was out. I was asleep. I
Mhm.
laid back on the couch with my puppies to turn on a movie, and that's the last I remember.
Mhm.
Turkey
Okay.
will do that to you.
Well, let's take a break.
You're live and local Real Talk Freedom 97.1, 1120 AM, WSME. Marine weather and regular weather is coming up next.
All right, Rayford, you ready to do some weather?
No, absolutely. Tideline Marine right here in Jacksonville, the sponsor of the Marine Forecast each day, twice a day. We do thank all of our sponsors for being part of the live and local Real Talk program. And if you would like to be part of that, of course, you can give Lee a call. She'll get you set up and move on.
That's right.
The one of the things that Sideline offers periodically, and they do it more often, particularly around holidays and things, and beginning to offer it about once a month for the month of like October. They had some very specials going on, and they have some other stuff coming up for December. George and um, Elise are down there today. They're going to be talking about exactly what they should be giving away or offering for giveaway. There was last week a special drawing Friday afternoon, and one of our local customers in Blaze Coon won. Guess what? A brand new Florida Fishing Products fishing reel. That's pretty cool. That's a very nice product. Now, since you are not Blaze and you want to get one of those, you can find special deals on them right now at Tideline Marine, along with all the stocking stuffers you can imagine. If you want to do a nice boat, a beautiful boat, uh, as we heard earlier from Howard, this would be a great opportunity. You can set it up. George will help you set up a surprise. Let's just put it that way. He can help you set up a surprise for the person that really you would really love to see in a brand new boat. All sorts of Christmas type of gifts, tree ornaments and things like that. They're on sale right now down at Tideline Marine, 159 Old Bridge Street, on the banks of the New River in downtown Jacksonville. You may as well stop by today because I'll tell you right now, you ain't going offshore, right, Lee?
That's right, because we have a small craft advisory, which is in effect till 3 p.m. this afternoon. And today, west winds 20 to 25 knots with gusts up to 30 knots, diminishing to 15 to 20 knots late this morning and afternoon. Seas 5 to 7 feet, subsiding to 4 to 5 feet this afternoon. Adjacent sounds and rivers rough, diminishing to choppy late this morning and afternoon. Tonight, northwest winds 15 to 20 knots, becoming north 10 to 15 knots after midnight. Seas 2 to 4 feet, dominant period 6 seconds. Adjacent sounds and rivers choppy, diminishing to a moderate chop after midnight. Tuesday, northeast winds around 10 knots, seas 2 to 3 feet, dominant period 6 seconds. And Wednesday, south winds 15 to 20 knots, seas 3 to 5 feet.
Today, sunny, high of 67, but a little gusty with gusts as high as 18 miles an hour. Tonight, clear, low of 41. Tomorrow, sunny, high of 65, calm winds. Tomorrow night, increasing clouds, a low of 52. And on Wednesday, it's going to start off cloudy with a high of 71, and then showers will be likely after 1 p.m. And Wednesday's really going to be gusty with gusts as high as 26 miles an hour. Yikes.
Yes.
You
Sounds
know,
a
I'm
little
sitting here
blustery.
right now.
Mhm.
It is fall. We got winter coming on in a couple of weeks,
Mhm.
but I'm sitting out looking through a window. The sun is shining
Mhm.
through the leaves. I don't recall around here, we don't get a lot of color changes in our leaves. We get a lot of pines and stuff, right?
Right.
And normally the leaves that I get around here, suddenly they just turn brown and fall down.
Mhm.
But I'm looking at a massive,
Yeah.
beautiful color mass back there in the woods behind my house right now.
Mhm.
It's
Mm.
gorgeous, gorgeous. Makes me want to grab a camera and go to work. So usually I have to drive all the way up to the mountains of North Carolina, the middle part of October to find that kind of stuff. But anyway, it's pretty out there.
It's
So
definitely a lot of oranges and reds out there this year. And driving, back home, the leaves changed, back in October, and there's very few leaves on the trees now. But as once I hit Raleigh back towards this way, the
uh-huh.
color was beautiful. Reds
Yeah.
and, yeah, there's the pines, but the actual trees, there were a lot of bright reds and bright oranges and even bright yellow. It was gorgeous coming all the way into Onslow County.
That's
Yeah.
the picture I've got
Yeah.
outside my window. Sorry y'all don't have one.
Yeah.
I can
Yeah.
take a picture through this window
We're
and
in a
send it to
Yeah.
you.
closet.
Send it to us. Yeah.
Yeah,
Skype
but
it to us. Yeah.
it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Just a beautiful day
And it
anyway out
seems a
there.
lot more vivid this year than in years past. I'm not sure what that's all
I,
about.
it has something
Mhm.
to do with the rain and how
Yeah.
fast it turns cold and whether it has sudden cold and also it has a lot to do with other weather
Right.
conditions. And I used to know a little bit more about it than I do now because they would predict when I should go up to the mountains and walk
Mhm.
around the hills up there and take pictures. And I used to do that periodically. Maybe I'll put that on my bucket list for next year.
Yeah.
Hey,
Very
Marine
nice.
Corps Community Services, Lejeune, New River, again, partnering with the Christmas Spirit Foundation and Federal Express. to distribute free Christmas trees to, ready?
Nice.
Active duty service members
Right.
and their families. It's happening this week, December 2nd, at the Paradise Point Golf Course parking lot aboard Marine Corps Base Camp Lejeune. Trees will be distributed on a first come, first served basis from 8 to 10 a.m. to active duty service members and their families E5 and below. That's from 8 a.m. until 10 a.m. Active duty service members and families E5 and below. After 10 o'clock, trees will be available to anyone with a valid DOD ID. Any trees that are left over, people are asked to not line up prior to 6:30 that morning. Over the past 17 years, I did not know this was happening, folks. Over the last 17 years, the
Yes.
Christmas Spirit Foundation has worked with FedEx to deliver real Christmas trees to military families across the United States. For 2022, estimated 15,300 trees will be delivered.
Yeah, I know they do this every year. I know the military does to the
Mhm.
E5s and below. It's been a
Yeah.
tradition for them, but I didn't know about the others being involved in it. But
Yeah.
that's really nice. Really,
Yeah,
really
can't
nice.
can't reserve the trees in advance. One tree per person with a valid DOD ID. Okay.
Well, I'm glad you brought it up because Kelly, do you remember what 5 years ago you could get a live Christmas tree at Food Lion for like $25,
Mhm.
$24.99. They're $54.99 now.
Oh,
No
that's cheap.
way.
$54.99 for these little spindly trees, and I'm like, "Oh, talk
You
about
know,
inflation."
back in the 70s, I used to go to Washington, North Carolina for a Christmas party for WITN. It was in early December, and I would go a little bit early, and there was a gas station. I'm going to call it that. I don't know what it actually was, but it either was an old filling station or it was a gas station and whatever. But anyway, on the left going north, and they had these beautiful Christmas trees, freshly cut Christmas trees, $7. I had a van, so I always packed my van and I always brought myself home a 6 foot Christmas tree. Cost me $7.
Isn't that something? I know one year we decided to go out in the woods and cut one down. Look, as soon as the presents were unwrapped, that tree went out the door
Mhm.
I'm sure it
because
was
the
worn out.
needles were
I
so
can't stand
sharp on
I
that.
can't stand the mess.
Yes, there was a mess. Plus,
It's just
the
mess.
needles falling from it
Mhm.
were like walking on razor
Oh
blades.
yeah, no.
Oh, as soon as that last present was unwrapped, I picked that tree up, buried it full of from its ornaments, and it went over the fence. I was like, never again.
Mhm.
Until the next year.
No. And I noticed the tree lot that used to be on Gum Branch right there near the old Kmart.
Yep.
It's not there this year.
I haven't seen it for the
I
past
haven't
couple of
seen
years.
it.
I thought
That's
this
where
one over by
thought
the
it
that's where we got
mall.
trees.
Yes.
Mhm.
Well, we've resorted down to this is the old fogey way of doing things as far as I'm concerned, to the artificial tree. We've had a couple
Yes.
and we got a very
Mhm.
nice one, relatively easy to put
Mhm.
it together. It's got the lights built in and
Oh,
Same.
don't go there. Mine is the second year I've put it up and a string of the lights went out, no
oh,
matter what I did. So I ended up taking it back apart again and
mhm.
taking the top string completely off the tree. And then I got some small LEDs and it's really beautiful now. But I'm like, why? Why me?
No, mine have built-in lights.
Yeah,
This
well,
is
this has
built in
been going for
also,
about
bud.
3 years now.
Mhm.
The first year we got it early,
Nice.
and Robbie had ordered it and plugged that thing in like in October, and the top part of it or one part of it did not work. It
Yeah.
was 3 sections. So
Yes.
called the company and they said, "You send us just the top part back. That's all we want. We'll make sure that you're not going to use the rest of it for anything." Is basically what they didn't say, but that's
Mm.
what they meant. And we'll send you another one. They sent us a whole brand new tree.
Wow. So what
Yeah,
did you do with the bottom half of the
threw it away. It
original?
was what else am I going to do with it? Put it out in the yard for the squirrels to climb? I don't think so.
You could like take it apart and use it as garland. That's
Well,
too
yeah,
much work.
not me. You could.
No.
That would be a Robbie thing. That
I
ain't a me
know.
thing.
I got my tree was just a couple years ago. And like I said, the middle section quit working. And so then I just added a string of lights to it and somehow the top section burned out. And I just said, I've had it. So I went out and bought some LEDs and strung and took the old lights off. You know, I had to.
Yeah.
They're wrapped all around the tree branches, but I took a pair of scissors and I took it all off and put the LEDs on it, and it's beautiful now. So
I got something that I really wish I wasn't in this shape this year or any year, but right around Christmas time it's rough because a couple of things I love. Three things particularly I like. I like the Jacksonville Christmas parade. That's always
yes.
nice, but that's in daylight. But there are two nighttime
I
Christmas
know.
events that I really, really enjoy. One's coming up this Saturday.
Yes.
It's the annual Jacksonville Breakfast Rotary Club Flotillas,
Mhm.
Jacksonville Breakfast Rotary Club Flotilla.
Yes.
I don't know, it's been about going on around 30 years or so.
Hmm.
I've been in it many times. And I love decorating the boat, putting a bunch of lights on it. And what I do with a bunch of
No.
lights is I have a little device and I hook it up to my PA system, and I blast the shoreline with the music that I'm playing aboard the boat, which you can hear. Oh Lord, you can hear a long ways away. And it's also connected to a computer that controls the lights flashing in time with the music. That's the first event that I like to do. The following Saturday is the Richlands Christmas Parade. It's at nighttime.
Mm.
What a great idea
Oh
to have a
yes.
Christmas parade at night.
Hmm.
Where I mean, lights are what we count on, right?
Right.
Lights. That's the theme of Christmas. Lights, lights, and more lights. And so I'm already planning on next year. We had a plan for this year, but
Yes.
unfortunately, sorry, ladies, it did not work
We're
out.
gonna
There's
make up
always
for
next
it
year.
next year. We're gonna
Well,
make up for it. We're gonna go
yeah,
big next year.
yeah, we're gonna get us a tractor trailer rig and let
That's
Timmy drive
right.
it.
That's Timmy's gonna drive it. We've already talked
Flatbed.
about
Hmm.
Yeah,
it.
we'll hold half of Onslow County in that thing.
That's right.
Yep.
And the yeah, but I do enjoy it. I do enjoy the lights and the sound of Christmas and all that sort of good stuff. It's a lot of work. I will
Mhm.
give you that. It's a ton of work. And Kelly last year did a yeoman's job putting a bunch of that stuff together.
Yeah, I
Thank
used
you.
to do it for the post office, and we managed to win second place one year.
Oh wow,
So that'll
that's
be
what we ought to
great.
go do for.
Yes,
We should go for a
the
an
amateur
award this
division.
year,
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
next year.
Yep.
We got plenty of time to plan it. We
We
just got
do.
to come up with whatever theme
Mhm.
that we need to come up with and go for it.
Yep.
So
I
maybe
agree.
what if they let us have ooh,
Uh-oh.
living nativity scene? I know where we can get the jackasses.
Well, I can tell you, most every year with the Christmas parade, you had to beat the guy in the diaper that was on the cross. They always won
Mhm.
the living nativity. I'm
Mhm.
not kidding. They always won.
How do you vote against that?
No, you can't.
Mm-mm.
Well, I go for second place.
All
Yep.
right.
All right.
We can take first.
Let's take a break. It's time
You're
to
live
take
and
a break.
local Real Talk on Freedom 97.1, 1120 a.m. WSME. We'll be right back.
And we are back.
We are.
We
Yeah.
are.
I don't know whether I got my camera on or not. Can you
I only
see?
see the top of your
Yeah,
head.
we saw the top of your head. We were peeking at you.
Yeah. All we can see is the top of your head. Yeah.
You're there. You're
It's
awake.
frozen right now.
Yeah, I think we lost Rayford.
Yeah. Rayford, are you there?
He just froze up on
Oh,
us.
he's froze up. Yeah. Not sure what's happening.
Anyway, you found a great article earlier about the Senator Chris Scott,
No,
Chris Murphy, yes.
Yeah.
On his take on trying to banning assault weapons, etc.
Well, it's not
And
that. He
defunding
wants
the
to defund
police.
police departments, and I figured that would get Rayford's goat.
Yes.
Because he yesterday to CNN, he was talking about he wants to propose not funding police departments that don't enforce the gun safety laws, such as the red flag laws. And he's saying that the shooting in Colorado may not have happened had that red flag law been triggered for the suspected gunman in that Club Q shooting, because apparently in 2021 that particular gunman threatened his mom with a homemade bomb.
Yes.
And the local sheriff's office there refused to use the red flag law to prevent him from having access to weapons. It's the El Paso County Sheriff's Office refused to utilize that.
Well, why does everything have to be about defunding the police?
I think now this is what I'm gathering from this. I think what he's saying is if we withhold your money, maybe that will make you want to enforce these laws. That's what my take was from this. But I think that may not be the way to do, to handle it. I never propose withholding money from police at all. And matter of fact, if anything, they need more. Look at that; the crime rates have increased across the country significantly
Oh, it
since they
has.
tried this before.
Yes.
So I just don't know. I don't think that's the answer. But I think he's going to talk to his colleagues. He said 60% of counties in this country are refusing to implement the nation's gun laws.
Well, I
Where
don't
does he
think
get
this
that
is ever
number?
going to pass anyway, because
Yeah.
it might have passed in the House, but it's not going to pass in the Senate. And
Mhm.
right now we're in the lame duck session until after the first of the year. And then by the first of the year, the Republicans are going to have the majority in the Senate. So it will go nowhere.
Mhm.
It will definitely go nowhere.
Yeah, I agree. But I mean, this is, I think it's going to start a conversation again,
Yes.
and probably not in a good way. Apparently, he's complaining that in 2019, that El Paso County Sheriff's Office in Colorado declared itself a Second Amendment preservation county and refused to exercise the red flag laws. So he's saying that they need to not have money. And he's saying, had they done that, this gunman may not have shot and killed those people. But you don't know that. I mean,
what always wanting to defund the police is their answer to everything. What has defunding the police got to do with an officer coming in answering a complaint at my house for
Mhm.
somebody that just broke in? And things like that. And they're
Mhm.
always wanting to defund the police. I just don't get it.
Well, look in Oregon, the nonsense they've been dealing with in Washington State with the areas that have defunded the police, they've got messes on their hands, big time.
Right.
Big time messes on their hands.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And calls going unanswered, officers quitting departments. I mean, I know right now Jacksonville Police Department is short of officers and still out there trying to hire. So if you want to be a police officer, please go down to the safety building and sign up. Sign up for that training.
Yeah. Oh, we got to take another break.
Yes, it's that time.
Let's take our break, and maybe we can figure out why we can't hear Rayford, because we can't hear him at all. We're live and local, Real Talk on Freedom, 97.1, 1120 a.m. WSME. We'll be right back. All right, and we are back. Rayford, are you there now? Yes.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yep, we can hear you
Yes.
now. Yeah.
Okay.
We had to restart the program.
Yeah,
got
little
hung up.
computer
It
issues
happens.
happen from time to time.
That's right.
You mentioned Portland real quick. Like
Mhm.
there was a story yesterday. A fairly significant locally owned and operated store there in Portland put a sign up: due to the criminal elements, we can no longer stay in business. We're going broke. They had 13 break-ins. 13 break-ins in the
Ooh-wee.
last year. The insurance company only paid off on 3 of them. A lot of people say, well, it's just the insurance company. Don't worry about it. We can break in and steal all we want. The insurance companies will pay off. Well, no, they don't. If you are not able to secure your building
Mhm.
after whatever, they quit insuring you. They quit paying off on
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
That's a problem. So all of you little thieving hoodlum pieces of crap out there who think they is all just leave it their insurance company.
Heathens.
We've all got insurance for that.
Mm-hmm.
No, that money runs out. After a while, they quit insuring it. It's kind of like you
Sure does.
wrecking your car, getting a lot of tickets all the time. Well, guess what they're going to do? They're going to cancel your insurance.
Mhm.
Yes, they will.
Agreed. Well, we're reaching the end of the show, and tomorrow at 7:30 we have Peter Wright on here answer more questions about Medicare because
Yay.
Part
Yeah.
2 on the Medicare
yeah,
issue and
because
health
there's just another
insurance.
week before
Right.
you can do the signups. So if anybody has questions tomorrow for him, he will be in here, and you can call in and ask questions. He's very knowledgeable.
He is a very
good.
nice
Yeah.
guy. And
Yeah.
in fact, he's over at the Walmart store on, he's Marine Boulevard, right?
Yep.
Yes, Marine
Yes.
Boulevard, yes.
As you walk in the door,
Mhm.
depending on which one you walk into, you either go left or right. But it's behind the cash register in that
Yeah.
little section
Right.
up there.
Yep.
And he'll be able to answer your questions
Mhm.
there too. No obligations. They're not trying to sell you anything. Not like a lot of the folks that are calling you on the
Right.
telephone line 28
Yeah.
times a day.
Yeah.
They're not trying to scam you.
Mm-mm.
You don't hear any boiler room, back room communications going on when
No
you're
pressure at
talking to
all.
No,
him.
nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
No pressure.
No.
So anyway,
Yeah.
so
All
I'll
right.
look forward to seeing
Yeah.
him here
Yeah.
tomorrow.
It'll be
10 to
good.
6, 10 to 6, Monday through Saturday. He leaves 1 to 2 for lunch, but he'll be there Monday through Saturday, 10 to 6 at the Walmart, right in front.
Yep. All right. Well, we've reached the end of the show. Rayford, it's good talking to you.
Same
Yeah.
here.
Always.
All right, everyone. I hope everyone has a wonderful Monday, and we'll see you back in here tomorrow. We're live and local Real Talk on Freedom 97.1, 1120 a.m. WSME. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Have a good day.